For LMUWrestlePlayers.com, I'm Scott Erlin, joined by head men's lacrosse coach Ryan Kuhn. Coach, kind of riding high right now since we last talked, coming off that St. Leo loss. You go up to the Northeast and get a 17-4 win over Dominican. Really a dominant performance from start to finish. What did you see from your team up there in that match against Dominican?
Well, I think a lot of the success that we had against Dominican was I think any success that you see on game day is a product of a great week of practice. And I would even go back further to, directly right after, the St. Leo loss. We reassessed some things. We addressed, any problems that we had, coming off of that loss, and identified some key points that we really needed to improve on going into the Walsh game. Had a good week of practice going into Walsh. Obviously going up to Cincinnati and playing in some less than great weather, playing in the snow. Took a lot of advantages we had, or we felt we had, against them away. Whenever there's bad field conditions, you really have to rely on your systems to help gut out some wins rather than sheer athleticism and making athletic plays. So from that standpoint, it was really a nice precursor going into the Dominican game because, we identified that we had to, turnovers needed to be down. We had to take a more systematic approach to an offensive and defensive system, and really that was, a really good start for us. Coming back, obviously, assessing the film, addressing some things that we really need to improve on. Going into the Dominican game, we still, we needed to take those steps. Like, we're never a finished product. So one of the things, too, was obviously continue to limit turnovers. We made some, we had a couple wrinkles in our offense, did a couple wrinkles with our defense. Game planned really well because, it was really hard since that was Dominican's first game to really game plan for them. They're a great program in their own right, coming off of a 6-9 season, returning everybody. So they have some guys on the offensive and defensive side, and especially in the goal, that we saw could cause a lot of potential problems for us. So we really needed to kind of hone in on what we do well and make adjustments to kind of combat what they do well. And I thought the guys for the majority of the game played a really good game in terms of sticking to the system, sticking to the game plan, winning the middle of the field. I thought we rode extremely well, and gave them a lot of fits. It was one of those situations where we wanted to make them have to work for every opportunity that they got. Now, was it a perfect game? Absolutely not. There are a lot of things that we need to improve on in that set. But obviously with conference play being 2 weeks away, coming off of 2 nice wins, we want to continue to keep that rolling. We have the Dominican games in the past. It was a great trip for us. It was a homecoming for a lot of guys. Essentially, it was a home game for us because we had close to 500 pro LMU people in the stands at Wantagh. It was fantastic. But now our focus is shifted on Shorter, who's a dangerous team, who's going to give us a lot of problems on Friday. So really we have our hands full. With this match coming up. But at the same time, addressing what we need to do better, because essentially we're coming off of a short week. We got back, essentially 7 o'clock in the morning on Sunday morning. Guys didn't get much sleep. We gave them Monday off, and Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then you play on Friday. That's a shortened kind of week, typically, than what we see. So the task at hand is to, get guys back focused, make sure that they're taking care of their bodies, make sure that they're taking care of their minds, make some changes, make some adjustments, and really play a great game against Shorter, because that's a team that we did not play specifically well against last year in my eyes. They're a team that can make you play out of system, that can really cause a lot of problems in transition. So for us, our goal is to make the game on Friday the best game that we play up until this point.
And like you said, we're closing in on South Atlantic Conference play in a couple weeks here, and South Atlantic Conference has become a really strong conference from a national perspective. Where do you feel like the team is at heading into that matchup against Shorter, and then looking ahead to next weekend's trip to Coker?
I still think that we're a team that's figuring out our identity. I think things are going well for us, but we have to continue to work hard. I think for us, it's all process driven. How can we get better today? What did we do wrong yesterday? What can we improve on today? What can we improve on going into tomorrow? Like I said, we're focused completely on Shorter, and our goal as a coaching staff is to not look ahead. at any point, because Shorter is a dangerous team. They're coming off of a big win against Emmanuel, and they're taking the trip up here. And for us too, it's we want to play our best lacrosse on Friday, because like we sat and filmed yesterday, sitting and talking with the guys. We said last year this wasn't a great game for us because we did not play well. We played out of system. We played rather selfishly. We turned the ball over way too much. So we really want to make sure that we play a great system game on Friday and have that, because you need that to play in our conference, because there are a lot of teams that are extremely dangerous. I mean, you open up with a Coker team that's big, strong, athletic. You're taking the trip to Hartsville. That's always a tough place to play, a tough environment to play. The fans are right on top of you. And then obviously you're going into, the rest of the schedule. I mean, look at it. Queens is ranked. Wingate has been ranked. LR is ranked. Tusculum is extremely tough. Catawba's coming off of, a couple of really big wins. Mars Hill is coming off of a really big win. Newberry has a great roster. There's a lot of talent just across the board in our conference, and every game is going to be a dogfight. I think it's going to mirror kind of how it's been the last 2 to 3 years, where there are going to be a lot of close games. There are going to be some games where you scratch your head at, and then there are going to be some games where it's like, I didn't really think that it was going to go that way, but everybody's dangerous, and we're just trying to focus on one day at a time. Like I said before, nobody's really worried about us. We might be off to a great start, but nobody really cares, because everybody seems to challenge our strength of schedule. But listen, for us, it's whoever, wherever, whenever. We're going to show up, and we're going to try and pick a fight and do what we have to do to walk away with what we want, and that's just how it is.
Well, and then on Friday, when you host Shorter up in Cumberland's, you're going for the best start in program history, trying to get to 5-1 for the first time in 4 seasons here. What's the message to the team? What is it going to take to get by a Shorter team that's sitting at 1-4, but it had that big win against Emmanuel?
For our guys, it's not to focus on all that stuff. The best start in program history. I mean, I had no idea that was up for grabs until you just said it. For us, it's just focus on today, focus on then move on to tomorrow, then move on to Friday. Really, we have to play our best lacrosse. We have to play unselfish lacrosse. We have to play good, hard-nosed defense. We got to win the middle of the field, and we really have to stick to what we do best. And we have to play for each other. We have to we have to be great teammates. And really, too, it's one of those situations where, you can't let yourself beat yourself. So we have to play extremely disciplined lacrosse, and I think that's something that we've struggled with early on in the season, and that's something that we've identified. And we want to take the next step with that, because against a team like Shorter, if we're spraying the ball all over the field, it's going to be a long day, and it's going to be a close game, and that's not what we want. We want to play, a system-based offense. If we get anything in transition, that's great. And we want to play tough defense. But if, we don't show up and play, it's going to be a long day.
Well, then, like we said, they play at Cumberland's 7 p.m. on Friday night against Shorter. You got anything else on your mind, Coach Kuhn?
Fun fact about our program, okay, now that we've moved the game to the Cumberland's, because of weather, with that, and then the Coker trip, our program will have traveled close to 6,500 miles before we get to play a game on campus this season.
Well, and that's always fun. The trip to Northeast and the trip down to the Sunshine State will do that. So,
gorgeous. Sunshine State, gorgeous.
More miles going on the tank for the Rail Splitters this weekend or on Friday when they host Shorter at Cumberland's. For Ryan Kuhn, I'm Scott Erland, and this is LMURailsplitters.com.